911. What's your emergency? My son, he was right here. I turned for a second and he's gone. Please help me. Every year in the vast wilderness of America's national parks, people vanish without a trace. No footprints, no struggle, no remains, just gone. Imagine this. You're hiking in the deep woods, surrounded by towering trees. The air is still, just the sound of leaves crunching underfoot. You're not alone. You're with your friend, your child, your brother. You stop to tie your shoe, check your map, adjust your backpack. It's only a second, but when you look up, they're gone. You call out their name. No answer. You run ahead, expecting to see them just around the bend, but there's nothing. Just silence. Just emptiness. How does a 6-year-old child disappear from right under his father's nose in broad daylight? How does an experienced hunter walk just a few feet off a trail and never return? Why are some victims later found miles away in places they never could have reached alone? The authorities will tell you it's just accidents, just bad luck. But if that's true, then explain this. The national park mystery no one can explain. What you're about to hear isn't just a few isolated cases, it's a pattern. And the deeper you look, the more disturbing it gets. If this was just a case of people getting lost, why do so many of these disappearances follow the same disturbing pattern? Let's take a look at some of the most mysterious cases. Case number 1, Dennis Martin, 1969, Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee. 6-year-old Dennis was playing hide and seek with his family in a crowded campground. When he went to hide behind a bush, he vanished instantly. No footprints, no tracks, no struggle. A witness reported seeing a rough-looking man carrying something through the woods just miles away. Despite an extensive search effort involving the military, Dennis was never found. Case number 2, Jared Atadero, 1999, Roosevelt National Forest, Colorado. 3-year-old Jared was hiking with a group and ran ahead, then disappeared. His clothes were found later, miles away, clean, and almost untouched. Search teams couldn't explain how a small child traveled so far alone. His shoes looked as if they had been taken off gently, not by force or struggle. Case number 3, Aaron Hedges, 2014, Crazy Mountains, Montana. An experienced hunter went missing after stepping off the trail for a moment. His gear was later found neatly placed on a ridge, his boots miles apart from his bones. He was found in an area that had already been searched multiple times. Case number 4, Samuel Bulkey, 2006, Crater Lake National Park, Oregon. 8-year-old Samuel ran a few feet ahead of his father on a trail, then was never seen again. No tracks, no scent, no remains. Despite searching the entire area, rescuers never found a single clue. How does a child disappear in a place with limited escape routes? Case number 5, Alfred Beilhartz, 1938, Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado. 5-year-old Alfred vanished while hiking with his family. His footprints stopped abruptly near a riverbank, but his body was never found. Hikers later saw a boy matching his description sitting on a high ledge 6 miles away, an area impossible for him to reach alone. Case number 6, Charles McCullough, 1975, Oregon. Charles, a photographer, disappeared in Oregon's mountains. A year later, his remains were found, but only his feet, socks, and pant legs were intact. His bones were missing, yet his clothes remained strangely unweathered. Investigators couldn't explain how only part of his body decomposed, while his pants remained intact. Case number 7, the disappearance of David Gonzalez, 2004, San Bernardino National Forest, California. 9-year-old David was left alone for just a moment at his family's campsite. When his mother returned, he was gone. A year later, his skull was found, but no other bones. Where was the rest of his body? What happened to him? Case number 8, the disappearance of Thomas Messick, 2015, Adirondack Forest, New York. 82-year-old Thomas, an experienced hunter, disappeared while hunting. His rifle, backpack, and gear were never found. Search dogs refused to pick up his scent, as if he had vanished into thin air. Survivors who came back, but with no memory. Case number 9, the man who vanished and reappeared, name withheld. A man hiking in Yellowstone vanished for 2 weeks, then woke up confused, miles from where he went missing. No recollection of the missing time. No injuries, no explanation. Said he felt like he had been somewhere else. Case number 10, the little girl who survived, the Bear Man story? A young girl went missing for 48 hours and was found miles away. She claimed she was taken care of by a big, friendly creature who looked like a bear man. Did she encounter a cryptid, a feral human, or something else? Strange search and rescue findings show actual footage of search teams calling out names in dense forests. Dogs can't track the scent. Search dogs refuse to track the scent or act afraid. Some dogs lay down and whimper as if they've hit an invisible wall. Bodies appear in previously searched areas. Remains or missing people show up in spots that had already been combed by search teams. How do they end up there? Who or what is moving them? Clothing, found neatly folded or inside out. Some missing individuals' shoes and clothes were removed and placed strangely. Why would a missing person neatly remove their own clothing? Law enforcement and park ranger quotes, real testimonies, show black and white interview clips with officers and rangers. Search and rescue official. I've worked cases where experienced hikers disappeared in places they should have easily navigated. No explanation. Park ranger testimony. There are places in these parks we don't talk about, places where people go missing and we don't know why. Search dog trainer. The dogs act as if there's nothing to track, like the person just vanished into thin air. Many of these disappearances happen in the same areas, over and over again. Why do these locations see repeated vanishings? What is hiding in these forests? Is this just misadventure, or are we looking at something far stranger? Theories range from secretive wild people to unknown predators lurking deep in the wilderness. And the government? They don't want to talk about it. The National Park Service's suspicious lack of records. Why doesn't the U.S. government keep a missing persons database for national parks? Unlike local law enforcement, the National Park Service, NPS, does not keep an official list of missing persons in federal lands. When researcher David Paulides requested this information, the NPS said they had no records, or, in some cases, demanded over $1 million in fees to retrieve the data. Why is this information so difficult to access? Former ranger quote, "We get reports of disappearances, and sometimes we're told not to investigate further." FBI and military involvement, overkill or something more? Why do some missing persons cases have military-level search operations? When Dennis Martin disappeared, Special Forces Green Berets were sent in, but they operated separately from the local search teams. In certain cases, the FBI arrives even when no evidence of foul play exists. Why does the government get involved in cases where people supposedly just got lost? Search and rescue officer. I've been on many search teams, but in some cases, we were told to stand down because higher authorities were taking over. That's not normal. Restricted zones in national parks. What are they hiding? Why are some areas completely restricted to the public? Certain sections of national parks are completely off limits, with no public access. Some disappearances happen right next to these restricted areas. Could the government be hiding something in these zones? An underground base, a hidden research facility, or something even darker? Former government employee. There are places in the parks you're supposed to go, and those are exactly where some of these people disappear. Mysterious cases where the government got involved. Case number 1, Dwight McCarter, the former ranger's confession. Former ranger Dwight McCarter worked many missing person cases. He admitted that some cases were just strange, like something took them. He once followed a child's footprints that just stopped, as if the child was lifted into the air. Case 2, missing boys at Yosemite. Government classified case? 2 boys disappeared separately in Yosemite National Park under bizarre circumstances. When Paulides tried to get FBI files on the cases, he was told they were sealed. Why would missing kids be classified? Case number 3, the Great Smoky Mountains, Men in Black incident. After a young woman vanished in the Great Smoky Mountains, her family reported being followed by unmarked black SUVs. A stranger in a suit warned them not to keep asking questions. Strange witness intimidation stories. Some people who report seeing strange things are silenced. In several cases, witnesses claim they were pressured by authorities to drop their statements. Some rangers admit that they are told to avoid certain topics in public reports. Are these just coincidences? Or does the government know more than they're saying? Former park ranger. I've been on cases where we found tracks or evidence that didn't make sense, but then we were told to forget about it. The feral humans theory. Are people being hunted? Could there be hidden, primitive groups living in national parks, kidnapping people? Some Native American tribes have legends of wild men living in the mountains. Survivors claim to have heard human-like grunts and laughter deep in the woods. In Dennis Martin's case, a witness saw a rough, unkempt man carrying something through the forest. Could national parks be massive, untouched territories where rogue humans still exist? Ex-Green Beret. There are places in these forests we don't go. If you do, you don't come back. The cryptid theory, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, or something else? Do unknown creatures stalk hikers and campers? Bigfoot sightings cluster in areas where people vanish. Theories suggest unknown species, intelligent but reclusive, could be taking people. Some reports claim huge, shadowy figures have been seen watching hikers. A few survivors describe glowing red eyes in the darkness before blacking out. Park ranger. We get reports of something moving in the trees, something big. We tell people it's just a bear. The government cover-up theory. What are they hiding? Are missing persons cases being classified because of secret operations? Military units randomly show up at search sites, but don't assist. Certain locations in national parks are off-limits with zero explanation. Yosemite cases were classified by the FBI, but why? Some believe deep underground bases exist beneath national parks. Ex-Intel officer, there are places we don't talk about. You don't go there, and you don't ask why. The alien abduction, interdimensional theory. Could some missing people be taken by non-human forces? Some disappearances have zero physical evidence. No tracks, no scent. Witnesses have reported seeing lights in the sky right before people vanish. A few survivors recall being somewhere else before waking up miles away. Missing victims have been found in locations physically impossible for them to reach. UFO researcher. These cases defy explanation. Some people vanish as if they were plucked from existence itself. The paranormal theory. Something supernatural? Could spirits, portals, or curses explain these vanishings? Native legends warn of spirit creatures that steal humans. Some locations have paranormal activity with eerie lights and shadow figures seen. In some cases, compasses and electronics malfunction in the search area. Could there be natural energy portals hidden in national parks? Wilderness guide, there are spots where the woods feel wrong. The air changes, even the animals go silent. The serial killer theory, is a hidden predator at work? Could there be one or more unidentified serial killers using national parks as hunting grounds? Parks provide the perfect environment for someone to stalk and attack unnoticed. Many disappearances happen in nearly identical circumstances. Some cases suggest victims were lured deeper into the woods by someone waiting. FBI analyst, most serial killers stay close to populated areas, but what if some don't? Are these cases just tragic accidents or something far worse? If people are being taken by WHO or what? What does the government really know? And most importantly, could it happen to you? This is still happening. Recent cases, 2020 present. Missing 411 isn't just history. It's happening now. Case number 1, Jacob Gray, 2017, Olympic National Park, WA. Jacob, a 22-year-old cyclist, was seen riding into the woods. His bike was found abandoned in the middle of a trail, but no signs of him. Months later, his body was found in a river with no cause of death. Case number 2, Samantha Sayers, 2018. Vesper Peak, Bawa 28-year-old Samantha was an experienced hiker. She texted her boyfriend mid-hike saying she was fine and then vanished. Despite thousands of hours of searching, nothing was ever found. Case number 3, the Colorado hiker mystery. A man went hiking on a well-marked trail and never returned. Search teams found his phone still on with no damage, no sign of struggle, no scent trail. It's as if he was erased. People are still vanishing, and we have no idea why. The disturbing missing person statistics. How many people disappear in national parks? The numbers are shocking. Over 1,600 unsolved disappearances in U.S. national parks. 600,000 people go missing in the U.S. each year. Some never found. Most vanish in broad daylight with no logical reason. Some missing people are later found miles away in impossible locations. Survival expert, even the most skilled hikers don't just disappear without a trace. Something else is happening here. The vanishing triangle theory. The most dangerous parks. Are certain national parks more dangerous than others? Yosemite National Park, one of the highest rates of missing 411 cases. Great Smoky Mountains, strange disappearances plus military involvement. Rocky Mountain National Park, known for bizarre missing persons cases. Crater Lake National Park, some believe it holds a supernatural energy. Former search and rescue worker, there are places we don't go. There's a reason for that. The final warning, what you need to know before you hike. How can you avoid becoming a missing 411 case? How to stay safe in national parks. Never hike alone. Many missing people were alone when they vanished. Tell someone where you're going and check in frequently. Avoid venturing off-trail. Many victims were found far from their intended path. Stay armed. Some believe this reduces the chances of vanishing. Listen to your instincts. If a place feels wrong, leave immediately. Survival expert, if you feel watched, don't ignore it. That feeling has saved lives. The final chilling questions. What is really happening? At the end of the day, there are more questions than answers. If these cases are just accidents, why do they follow such a strange pattern? Why does the government refuse to release records on missing persons? What force is taking people, and why? Will we ever know the truth? So, next time you step into the wilderness, ask yourself, will you come back? Why do some victims show up in impossible locations? Many missing persons are later found miles away, across rivers, over mountains, in places they could never have reached alone. Aaron Hedges' remains were discovered miles from where he went missing, without his boots. Alfred Beilhartz was seen 6 miles away from his last known location, on a high ledge. Bodies have been found in locations that were searched multiple times. Wilderness expert. Even the most trained survivalists wouldn't end up in these locations. It defies logic. Why are search dogs failing to track? One of the most baffling elements of missing 411 cases is that trained search dogs either refuse to track the scent or simply can't. Some dogs whimper and refuse to continue the search. Others circle in confusion, as if the person vanished into thin air. Bloodhounds, with some of the best noses in the world, fail to track victims. Search dog trainer. I've never seen dogs act like this. It's as if the trail just stops. Is there a pattern to when and where these cases happen? Some researchers believe disappearances happen under specific conditions. Many vanish near bodies of water. Cases increase during certain times of the year. Some missing people were last seen around strange rock formations or caves. Geologist, some of these disappearances happen near places with unusual magnetic activity. Why do some survivors have no memory of what happened? A small number of people have vanished, only to reappear with no recollection of what happened. One hiker vanished for days, then woke up miles away without injuries or memory of how he got there. Some recovered victims report feeling as if they had been somewhere else. Others recall strange dreams, distorted time, or seeing eerie lights. Psychologist, this goes beyond normal memory loss. It's as if their minds were wiped. The government knows more than they're saying. Why are some cases classified? Why does the National Park Service refuse to release records? Yosemite National Park cases are sealed by the FBI. Some families report being followed or receiving anonymous warnings. In some cases, military personnel were present but refused to speak. Ex-military insider. There are things happening in the woods that the public isn't meant to know. What do you believe? Theories ranked from most likely to most bizarre. No single theory explains it all, but one thing is clear: something strange is happening. Is there a rational explanation for all of this? Or is something truly sinister at play? Are these just tragic accidents, or is something taking people? Why does the government refuse to talk about some cases? Could something beyond our understanding be at work? And most importantly, what happens to those who never return? There's something in the woods and it's waiting. What do you believe? Are we alone in the universe, or have we been watched for longer than we realize? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dive investigations into the world's biggest mysteries, subscribe now.